Heyo everybody, Haku here with my discussion of the latest Pokemon trailer, and honestly the discussion is a little bit late since because of the demo coming out we have essentially learned all of what's going to be in this generation's Pokedex, so we're a little late on this announcement, but like I said, every time I do my reaction to the trailer, I come back and I do my actual discussion of what we saw in the trailer, a bit more in depth and my thoughts on it and everything. Also, I think I might do a video on the leaks, but if I do a video on the leaks, I won't have, if you don't want to watch it, I won't have any spoiler in the title, any spoiler in the thumbnail or anything, so that it won't bother you. You can just not click on it in your sub feed. So yeah, I definitely will not be spoiling anything. If I do a video on the leaks, like I said, I'll tell you it's a video of the leaks at the beginning so that you can leave if you don't want to watch, and I won't have any spoilers in the thumbnail or title. But yeah, other than that, let's start talking about this actual trailer. We got a bunch of new Pokemon and a pair of new trainers, and they are all great. Just honestly, and even after seeing the leaks, Gen 7 is so strong. There is not a bad design in my opinion. The only ones I'm kind of meh about are Kommo-o and Bruxish that we already know about, and I mean, even being meh, I don't think they're bad designs, I just think they're a little boring. So nothing but good stuff to say about Gen 7 right now. So talking about Silvally, the one on the screen so far, it's an evolution of Type Null, which actually surprises me a little because I wasn't really expecting Type Null to have an evolution per se, so I find that to be interesting, but and I'm not sure if it's going to be an evolution by friendship or an evolution via just the plot, like if it's going to evolve tearing off its mask some point in the actual plot of the story. But either way, I love the design. It's the best Chimera, and pretty much it's just a normal type, but it has an ability called RKS system, which of course RKS, which is Arceus, which I mean, I'm not sure how they pronounced it in the movies. I don't think I've seen the movie with Arceus, but I'm not sure how they pronounced it, but it would make sense if they're just combining the words Arc and Deus, which means God, that it's actually pronounced Arceus, which would make sense because it's the RKS system. So yeah, maybe we've been pronouncing it wrong the entire time and it is pronounced Arceus and not Arceus. Yeah, saying a lot. I guess that's really all there is to talk about it. That ability just makes it so it changes its typing whenever it's holding a certain item, and it has multi-attack, which is like Judgment in doing damage based on the type of that item. Like, in that its damage is the type of the item. The move changes to be that type. So I really want to use a Silvally for my team. Not sure which type I'll have it as yet, but I really want to use one. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about Silvally. Let's move on to some of the others. Next up we have the evolutions for Jangmo-o, which are obviously going to be our pseudo-legendary for this region, and I love them so much. Like, they're not my favorite designs of this region, but I think they look really cool. Of course it's going to be dragon fighting, which a lot of people did predict, and it's also going to keep bulletproof and soundproof as its abilities throughout the evolutionary line. And I really, in particular, I like hakamo-o, like its arms. I just think it looks really cool. And that's not to say I don't like kommo-o, because I think kommo-o is completely awesome. The only thing, and I've seen a few other people mention it as well, the only thing I don't really like are like on its shoulders, the little white puffy shoulder pad things. I don't really like that, but other than that, and maybe the second layer of scales going down its side I'm not the biggest fan of, but I love the headdress they have, and I love the arms, and my favorite part of it is the tail. I think kommo-o's tail looks incredible. Its face though, tell me if you guys see it or not as well, but its face kind of reminds me, and it was the first thing I thought of when I first saw it, it kind of reminds me of Eon from Rudolph's Shiny New Year. If any of you have seen that Christmas movie a million times as kids and whatnot, it reminds me of Eon from Rudolph's Shiny New Year. So yeah, I freaking love the tail. It also has a new move called Clanging Scales, which is really interesting because, I mean, of course, like, I don't know, I like the concept of it looking like a physical brawler, but that seems like it might be a special attack, so that's kind of odd because it seems like it's going to be a sound-based attack, and just having a big burly dragon use a sound-based attack seems really cool. So I like the designs a lot. Not my absolute favorites, but I like them a lot. So yeah, let's move on to another set of evolutions. Next up, we have the evolutionary line of Bounsweet. Bounsweet evolves into Steenie, which evolves into Tsarina, which the name, of course, based on the a Russian queen, the Tsarina, except it has two E's instead of an I. But they're going to be a pure grass type line, which is interesting. Like, I was thinking, like, maybe Tsarina seems like she should be grass fairy or grass fighting, maybe. Grass fighting makes a bit more sense, but I'm cool with pure grass. It just, to me, it seems very, very similar to Lilligant. I don't know. It's like, Tsarina reminds me a ton of Lilligant, not in a bad way. I really like the design. I just think it reminds me a lot of Lilligant, and Steenie also reminds me a lot of, like, Curlia, like, a ton. It just, I don't know, here's where I am with their designs. Their abilities I'll get into first. They have Leaf Guard, and Steenie could have Oblivious, and she can get Oblivious. And Tsarina can get Queenly Majesty, which is a new one that's RIP priority moves. It completely nullifies priority moves. So, and Tsarina has a new move called Drop Kick, which I'm figuring is just going to be essentially Blaze Kick, but the typing will be Grass instead of Fire. I really, really like the designs. I've said Lurantis is my favorite from this generation, but there are so many that are so close, and this makes me almost consider not using Lurantis, but I'm 100% using Lurantis. I'll just have to second playthrough or secondary game or something. Like if I play Sun, then I'll also play Moon and use a Tsarina on my team. And the thing is, I really like Tsarina, but I almost don't want to evolve Steenie just because Steenie I like so much more. Steenie is such a cute design. I love it so much. So yeah, I like it a little bit more, honestly, which is sad because at first I didn't like Tsarina's design too much. I was like, okay, the tiny little arms compared to the giant legs are kind of goofy, but the more I've come to see it, the more I'm like, okay, it's a pretty good design. I like it. Just the more I see Steenie, it is such a cute design. I love it so much. So I'm pretty torn between which one I like better, whether I want to evolve it or not. But I probably will end up evolving it. But R.I.P. Steenie. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our last new evolution. Next up is Ribombee, and I really, really love Ribombee. You guys know it's the evolution of Cutiefly, and you guys know I really liked Cutiefly, but I really want to use Ribombee on my actual team now, I think, just because it is so friggin' adorable. I love the way it has the little scarf and hoodie look to it. I'm very, very happy with this evolution, because at first when we saw it way, way back when in one of the Japanese trailers in the background, but I was like, I can't tell if I like that or not. It's not really a very good look at it, but seeing the actual artwork and seeing it in a battle, I think it's adorable. I really like it. It has Honey Gather and Shield Dust, if I didn't already say that, and its typing is Bug Fairy, which I think is a really cool typing that I'll be excited to try out. And yeah, so I guess that's really all there is to say about Ribombee, and let's move on because we have two new Alolan forms to discuss. Next up, we have the Alolan forms for Grimer and Muck, and I am a big fan of Muck, like just the original, so I really, really like this Alolan form. Alolan Grimer is kind of but Alolan Muck is awesome. It has, it's Poison and Dark, and its abilities are going to be Poison Touch or Gluttony, and I think Poison Touch is a really good ability for it. I like it. Maybe it could have had a new one, but I'm fine with the way it is. Not sure why Poison Dark, though. That seems like an odd choice for typing. It's a very, very good typing, so I'm kind of glad, but I was thinking, like, what if we had gone Poison Rock? Because, I mean, it has those crystals in it that are, like, crystallized toxins or whatever, so wouldn't it have made more sense to be Poison Rock rather than Poison Dark, given the backstory? But either way, cool with the type, it's whatever. And I love the design, the way it looks kind of like an oil spill. I think that's sort of what the physical design is supposed to look like, and I love the way it has those crystals in it, kind of like teeth or fangs, or it can throw it at them. So it may learn a few rock type moves, which I think would be pretty interesting for its moveset as well. And either way, overall, I Really, really like it, and pretty much the only type that can touch it right now is ground that I can think of, or they can touch it, but the only type that's going to be really effective against it is ground. So it's a pretty powerful type combo, and I like the way it looks. Alolan Muck is one of the better Alolan forms to me personally. But then again, like I said, I like the original Muck a lot. And lastly for this trailer, we had the Island Kahuna Olivia and the Trial Captain Ilima. And Olivia, hello, that has gotta be one of the smexiest Pokegirl designs that we have gotten. Like, oh my god, Olivia's hot, guys. It is completely just one of the more adult looking designs we've had, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. But she is the rock type kahuna of Akala Island, and we know that she has a nose pass so far. Something that makes me think it seemed like Hala was somehow connected with the electric type Tapu Koko. So do the types of the island guardians correspond in any sort of way with the types that they use? Which would mean maybe we have a rock type or rock fairy island guardian. That'd be sort of interesting, even though rock fairy is already a typing we've done twice, and fairy's only been around for 2 generations. So maybe not the best type combo for that guardian, but that's just shooting off the top of my head. I really love the design for Olivia. Really interested to see what kind of role she plays in the game, and then when the anime comes around, what kind of role she might play in the anime, even though the game characters really don't, unless they're one of the followers with Ash, they typically don't play a very big role. But either way, getting very sidetracked. Either way, really cool design. And moving on to Ilima. Ilima is the normal type trial captain, and seems to be, from what I'm hearing, the first trial captain that we're going to run into, where the totem Pokemon at the end of the trial will be that Alolan Raticate in Moon and the Gumshoos in Sun. So possible first trial captain. And another thing I noticed with each of them and with the other trial captains that I have seen other people mentioning as well is they all have a some sort of stone or crystal on them. So if that's the Z crystal, and we know there's going to be a Z move for each type, then are there going to be like 4 kahunas, and I guess I would have to be like 14 trial captains? That seems like a lot to me. But what if at the end of each trial, the trial captain gives us like their types corresponding Z crystal, and the same with the kahunas would give us their types Z crystal? But that seems like it would make sense, but it also just seems like 14 would be a lot. Split between 4 islands, that's not going to be symmetrical between the islands. But there's at least going to be like 3 an island, so that would and then 1 more on 2 of the other islands. So that's kind of a lot, but I guess it's possible since we're doing the trials instead of doing gyms and we're not sure how they'll play out. It's entirely possible. So I'm wondering if they have anything to do with how we're actually going to get the Z crystals. But yeah, other than that, that is the end of this one. I have discussed as thoroughly as I feel I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you did like this video, and like I said, I will probably be doing some sort of video discussing the leaks, but it will, I'll keep the title and the thumbnail spoiler free and let you know we'll be discussing the leaks. So if you don't want any of that, then don't worry, I'm not going to spoil any of it. Okay, anything else I was supposed to say? Comment down there, tell me what you thought of this trailer's information, what you thought of my thoughts on all of it. Subscribe for more Pokemon and a bunch more. Follow on Twitter if you want as well, and that's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.